Will, heads up. Heads up.
Okay. All right, I do have 4 o'clock, so I'll call the town council meeting of December 11th, 2023 to order. And the first order of business would be the invocation and the pledge.
All right, let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and thank you for the beautiful snow that you gave us. And Father, as we come to the end of this year, we just ask that we may all find time to spend with our families and friends and loved ones during the holidays. And we pray for those who may be alone or who've lost a family member or a loved one. Lord, we pray for them and allow all of us to be able to reach out to those in need and those who may need assistance. And Father, we just pray for a wonderful, healthy, and prosperous new year and a wonderful meeting this evening. All these things we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Terry, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have to go off again.
Oh, did it? Fix that.
There you go. Okay. Everyone should have received a copy of last month's minutes.
I move to approve the November 13th, 2023 minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and second, further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Okay, and we're going to move on to the treasurer's report now. Angie's not with us today because her mother's has some illnesses. So, Michelle, you want to kind of
Yeah,
do the introduction?
sure. The only thing you have in your packet today is the check register. Angie was trying to finish them up or the reports up this morning, but she wasn't able to be here with a family emergency. So we'll get those to you in the next couple days. But we do have with us today Carl Hogan, who's a BBD, and he just, like, hot off the press this afternoon, wrapped up the audit, and he's going to give you an overview. Carl?
So I think over the weekend, Michelle shared a draft of the audit. So we're going through our quality control process. That got finished today. There's no changes to the numbers. There might have been some cosmetic changes, whatever. But the numbers that were in the audit are that were presented in the draft are the same. So the game plan from here is, number one, I'm coordinating getting the UFR into the state by the holiday, so that's in and taken care of. And then also you have a little bit of a new wrinkle in the current year. If you notice in your audit report, you had about 10 more pages in there for your single audit. So because you expended in excess of $750,000 of the American Rescue Plan money, you had to get a single audit done. There wasn't many transactions related to it, but it's a requirement. Typically, the town doesn't receive federal funding, but because we received the federal funding, it exceeded the $750,000. We did the special audit procedures and put the additional supplement in the back of the audit report. So once we follow with the state, then we'll actually have to follow with the federal government as well through their website, and we'll upload that as well. So, and then also that'll meet the requirements of the state, and then the state can find that the audit was done. They can download it off the federal website. And then next year you'll have one more single audit to finish up the expending of the funds. So as you know, the game plan, spend the ARPA money, the federal money, spend the impact fees, spend the on the wastewater treatment plant. We'll go over that today. So I just picked out a couple pages from the audit for June 30th, 2023. There's some additional language related to that single audit that we just talked about within the independent auditor's report. But once again, what we want to focus on is the paragraph number 1 and paragraph number 2, basically stating that you have a clean or an unmodified opinion. The numbers presented to us by management for the year ended June 30th, 2023 were fairly presented. A lot of the same language you've seen in the previous years. The responsibilities of management, our responsibilities. That section of the audit report has not changed. Page number 2, what responsibility we're taking for the different sections of the audit report. As I've said in the past, there's different sections of the audit report. We either offer an opinion on it or don't offer an opinion on it. The required supplementary information, the management's discussion and analysis on pages 4 through 11, because this is narrative form put together by management. Our responsibility is only to make sure that it is consistent with the rest of the audit report. And this is, I really encourage, if everybody's not gonna read, I think it's up to over 50-some pages of the audit report at this point in time. I really encourage everybody to read pages 4 through 11, because it's gonna kind of go over everything as we go here today. Just in a more concise narrative format put together for the public. And then also there's supplementary information in the back of the audit report. We are providing an opinion on that, and included within the supplementary information in the back is a schedule of expenditure to federal awards, which is a new piece of the audit report, which will be in this year's audit report and next year's. And then also, this is a standard paragraph that we had there before. Our audit is being conducted in accordance with government auditing standards. So to get into the numbers, I didn't put there's a budgetary comparison schedule in the back of the audit report that kind of blows this all out, but I thought I'd just do the concise version here because it's just easier to look at it. This is your general fund and your revenues and the expenditures, budgeted amounts versus the actual amounts. As you can see at the top, total revenues, $2.4 million budgeted, came in at $2.9 million. You're going to see two numbers that kind of stick out. You're going to see that.
Carl, could you tell them the page number?
Oh,
Sorry.
that's page number 18. Sorry. Okay, that's full package.
Okay.
Yeah. So the two numbers that you're going to see there up at the top, tax revenue, once again, you continue to increase it a little bit based upon trend analysis, but once again, especially your income tax revenue kind of has been blown it out of the water in terms of, you're increasing it, you don't want to increase it too much, but once again, we've had another very positive year related to that, not only related to that, but also related to your property tax collections and the collection rate. I believe it was all collected by June 30th, 2023, so being collected through the county. And the other item that you're going to see there that sticks out is the miscellaneous, and always been buried within the miscellaneous in the back schedule is your interest income. So your interest income, when you wanted to remember, when you put your budget together for the year, you didn't anticipate the interest income was going to explode like it did, and you've also had more in reserve. So I think in reality, I think there's over $150,000 of interest income that you received that wasn't originally anticipated during the current year. Expenditures, pretty much right in line, $2.2 million versus almost $2.2 million. You have some ups, you have some downs, you have some over expenditures here. Some of the over expenditures here are related to some grant expenditures you didn't expect to have. So in reality, some of that intergovernmental revenue that you see up at the top, there's some revenues that weren't budgeted that are being offset by these expenditures at the bottom. But pretty much, and that's why you're seeing your total expenditures pretty much being in line and consistent with previous years. And the town's always done a really good job in terms of keeping their expenditures. And that's something you can control. Like the revenues, you never know how it's going to come in on an annual basis, but what you can't control is your expenditures, what's been budgeted and what's actually paid out during the year. And then down below, you have your other financing sources uses. In the budgeted column there, you're going to see that during the budget process, you use $200,000 of fund balance to balance your budget. Transfers out primarily over to the capital projects fund. This is like your local share of any kind of projects that aren't being funded by a grant. And then you have, during the current year, you're starting to put money away for waterfront revitalization. We'll see this on the balance sheet. So it's budgeted, wasn't spent yet, and it's kind of put away. So you can see it's a positive variance, being that you expected revenues to be in excess of. So I know in the current year, you put another $300,000 into the budget to kind of build up that reserve, and then you expend that on projects for the waterfront revitalization. So at the end of the day, we're taking into account your actual revenues, your actual expenditures, and transfer out over to the capital projects fund. Actually had an increase in your general fund balance of $440,000. Your fund balance at the beginning of the year was $1.8 million. The end of the year at $2.2 or $2.3 million at the end of June 30th, 2023. The next page I have is page number 16, so I'm kind of going backwards. And this is basically the same information that you just saw without the budgeted information, but I just wanted to highlight the capital projects fund. We, spend a fair amount of time within the capital projects fund as well. Your intergovernmental revenue up at the top consists of state grants primarily for the current year for the Elktown Alley, and you had some other additional monies that were coming in related to the work project that was finishing up towards the end of at the end of last year and into the current year. And then you can see the expenditures here. Mostly all of the expenditures in the capital projects fund for the current year were related to the Elktown Alley project and also the wharf project as well. So any kind of excess of expenditures or grant revenues, as you can see, there's that 247,000, it kind of jumps, transferred over, and then there's no fund balance within the capital projects, the general funds, meeting that deficit with what was expected or budgeted for those projects. Next page here is the balance sheet, and that's on page 14. So we kind of went over the revenues and expenditures, the ins and the outs for all the different funds. And this is as of a point in time as of June 30th, 2023, where your assets, basically your current assets and your current liabilities in the excess over the two, being your fund balance at year end. So as you can see up at the top, you have cash and cash equivalents, your investments, which you use as your MLGIP account, and you transfer money back and forth as needed to be liquid to pay for bills. So if I look at this and I'm looking at it from a third party, if you have $6.5 million in liquid assets at year end, that's a good situation in terms of that. And then liabilities, due to other funds, so you kind of want to ignore that. That's just money going back and forth in terms of the capital project fund, the general fund, the proprietary fund. Everything's kind of through an internal, everything's kind of internally within one account, and then it kind of gets spread out with all the capital assets and stuff. So it all nets up to zero at the end of the day. And the other big number here is the unearned revenue. And that $2.2 million, it represents the American Rescue Plan money that hasn't been spent yet. So you've got approximately $3.6 million. You spent $1.5 million of it in the current year, and there's $2.2 to be spent as of June 30th, 2023. I remember it's as of that date. So I think as of this day, I think there was 2 RONCA invoices and 1 GHD invoice that were applied against the grant as of, for 2022, 2023. So the excess of the assets over the liabilities at the end of the day is $2.3 million. $237,000 is your highway aid money that wasn't expended as of year end, and that's considered restricted because it's restricted by law for road maintenance. You have assigned fund balance, and this is in a footnote in the back too. But the biggest piece of the assigned fund balance is related to amounts that were used to balance the next year's budget. I think we used about $600,000, anticipating to have a surplus and then putting it back into one-time expenditures in 2023, 2024. And then there's some certain encumbrances that got rolled over in addition to some other small stuff. And the biggest piece there being the $600,000 that was used to balance the budget, plus the $112,000 we just talked about for the waterfront revitalization on the previous page. So, you put that money aside and it's sitting in that assigned fund balance as of June 30th, 2023. And then you have the unassigned fund balance, which is about $1.2 million, and that's kind of approximating 50% of your operating expenditures, taking out capital for the next year in line with your fund balance policy at the time. Anybody has any questions yet? Yeah. All good news. And then the other fund we spend a lot of time with is, and especially in the particular year with the wastewater treatment plant expansion, is the the proprietary fund. And this is the fund where we record all the activity for the wastewater.
What page are you on?
Oh, sorry, page number 20. Sorry. So page number 20, this is the sewer, the water, and the trash. It's all being captured here within one fund. When you're looking at everything from operations, you have positive operations during the year, and then you have an operating loss when you throw in depreciation. So depreciation is a non-cash item. So if I'm looking at this statement, once again, from looking at it as a third party, I'm going to look at your, your operations, and your operating income before depreciation was $200,000. And then there's other items, down below that are considered non-operating revenues and expenses and capital contributions. And this area down below is a little bit more busy than it has been in the past. There's some additional line items for the issuance of the bonds that were issued during April of 2023. Interest income, as you can see, was $400,000. So that interest income not only encompasses what you earn, what's being earned on your MLGIP accounts, but also you are earning interest on those bond proceeds. So those bond proceeds came in, they were sitting in escrow with the state, and it actually earned another $90,000. So you had the $8 million of bonds you're paying back, you had $1 million premium, plus you had the $100,000 here. So it's kind of like free money, you know, in terms of in
like
essence,
free
what
money.
you actually pay back. But
Yeah,
yeah, so when you think of that, it's
Take
really
it.
not, but you know, it kind of works. So.
We all.
So, and then you have your interest expense, which is a little bit higher than previous years because you have to accrue interest up until June 30th on those new bonds, the bond issuance costs, and then down below, you have capital contributions. So there's that $1.5 million I just talked about, and that's where your ARPA money is, that was used for the wastewater treatment plant expansion. You have the donated capital assets we captured, the donated capital assets related to Parks West within this fund during June 30th, 2023. And then we have the normal impact fees and capacity allocation fees that were earned during the current year that will be, you know, in part used for the wastewater treatment plant expansion. So we'll kind of go over what that makes up the net position. It's kind of misleading that we have $40 million net position, but that's basically, it's going to be your investment in capital assets at the end of the year for your proprietary funds. So here's that $40 million I just talked about. This is on page number 19. So most of your assets, you know, if you look up at the top, we have most of the assets are the non-current assets, restricted cash and cash equivalents. So that $10.5 million, about a third of the way down, is your impact fees that have been collected over the years. So over the years, you've had development, you've collected impact fees, and you've put aside $10.5 million now you can use for the wastewater treatment plant expansion project. Also within there, the other big asset there is that $9 million that we talked about, the $8 million in loans, $1 million in bond proceeds, and about $85,000 in interest income. And then your net capital assets, net of depreciation at year end are $32.8 million. And then when we look at your current liabilities, you know, everything's super clean, everything's paid right after year end. And then your non-current liabilities, if you looked at it compared to the previous year, it went up about $8 million, net of whatever payment you had on the other note payable that you had at year end, and then that'll be sort of be paid off on an annual basis. So of that $40 million, as you can see, you know, $27 million is actually the investment in the actual capital assets or the infrastructure of the town. $10.5 million is related to the impact fees that is restricted for future capital projects. And then you have your unrestricted, so that $40 million is a little bit, you know, misleading in terms of the amount that's only available to the town for that's not encumbered or have any kind of restrictions on it. It's only $2.7 million or $2.8 million at the end of the year. A couple other things I just threw in here real quick. Page number 28. I don't think I've ever hit the footnotes before, but just because you had the bonds that were issued in the current year, and at the bottom there, page number 28, you're going to see the new bonds coming in and the bond premiums coming in. So bond premiums are kind of counted as a liability, and then we're going to amortize it over the life of the debt. And then next page, page 29, this is where all the information is related to the notes. So as we're going to see up at the top of page 29 is basically the, you know, all the different notes, when their different maturity dates are, and then as you come down below, right there on April 20th, 2023, we talked about the new debt, and then down below we have the different maturities related to the governmental activities and the business type activities, and you know they'll be paid out. And then finally, there's a new schedule on the back of the audit report, and this is on the back page of page 47. Back here on page number 47, this is the summary of the auditor's results. This isn't typically in there, but it's being required by the single audit now. As you can see at the top, we talked about, you know, there's unmodified audit report. And then we talk about there's no kind of issues or compliance issues related to your, you know, federal awards, your financial statements. There are instances in which we kind of report like, recommendations or whatever like that, but nothing that we consider to be a significant deficiency or material weakness that would need to be reported in this report. And then we talk about, the major program that was being audited for the year, which was it's called the Coronavirus State and Local Recovery Funds, but it's all captured underneath the American Rescue Plan Act money. That's it.
So you don't have any concerns over the last year? Or-
No, we, any kind of concerns or, any kind of areas where you can improve for operating efficiencies or anything like that, communicate with them, with management, but nothing that, and then she shares them with you as, appropriate in terms of course they need to be, so. But in terms of financial position, we can't, good position, so.
Very good.
I have a
Comments,
question.
questions? Yeah.
Yeah, on number 9 on the last page, it said the commissioners of Leonardtown did not qualify as a low-risk auditee.
So somebody might take that as a wrong,
Yeah,
but,
I know.
so in order to be a low-risk auditee, you have to have a single audit for 2 consecutive years without any findings. So, I don't know if you ever become a low-risk auditee unless this does drag out 3 years, but I think it's just give you 2 years, and then if you ever get federal awards in the 3rd year without any issues, then you could be a, that's funny, everybody picks that.
Sounds
So-
bad.
So to be considered a low-risk auditee, you have to have a single audit for 2 consecutive years without issues in the file.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? No? Thank you very much.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Carl will finalize everything, send us a copy, and you'll get a bound copy, and then we
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
send it to the state, and then we put it on the website for the public too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything else for the treasurer's report?
No, I'll get your patents to you as soon as Angie gets back.
Mom's okay, thank you.
All right, we'll move on then to the planning department. Mike Bailey.
Members, the planning commission has a meeting scheduled for December 18th. And we have actually 3 items on the schedule. The first one being a public hearing, which will be scheduled for 4:10 in that meeting. And that project is the property known as Old Gum Supply, which is directly across the street from the Cedar Lane Apartments. They're requesting a rezoning from residential single family to commercial office. Second project would be the Dash-In food store, which is the Exxon station there at Newtown Neck and Route 5. They're requesting final approval for their construction plans at that project. And then lastly, we have Meadows at Town Run Section 2, Phase 2, which is 74 townhouse units for final approval. And that's it.
Okay. Comments, questions for Mike?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Why did we have to approve her the Taco Bell, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and then we're going to approve the Dash-In, but we didn't have to do McDonald's? And didn't we have to approve Wendy's?
McDonald's was just a remodel
Just
that didn't
like
have any exterior
outside
change.
kind of-
I mean,
Right.
it went to planning and zoning.
Okay, okay. Good.
And we just
Okay.
needed to, because it was an exterior, that was pretty much it.
Awesome, that was my only question. Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And let's see, we get a copy of the police report?
We did.
We did. But Corporal Roselle isn't with us today. Any comments,
Ear
questions
surgery
on
on
that?
Friday. She had ear surgery on Friday.
Ah, okay.
That doesn't sound fun.
It's a full report, so she's been busy.
Yep.
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 Lots of accidents.
Hmm.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions there? Okay, we'll go on to town administrator report. Michelle?
Okay, first item on my agenda is the Leonardtown Cottages, 22800 Lawrence Avenue. It's for the PER designation and concept site plan decision. Last month, we held a public hearing following the planning commission's recommendation, and you asked to table the decision until a site visit could be scheduled, which we did on Wednesday, publicized the workshop and went out on the site. We have the owners and developers here with us if you have any additional questions. So, just,
I'd just like to say, we did go out and look at it, and I'm glad you did get everything laid out so we could actually see it, because it's a lot smaller than what you kind of imagined, so I think it's going to be a nice project. And the alternative would be to put in a 12-unit building again, and that could really cause some issues there, so looking forward to moving forward. Comments, questions?
I think the site visit helped visualize a little better what the plan is. And Mayor, what you said, if it was on the corner, was going to be what, a 12-unit
12-unit.
apartment building was the other alternative? Okay.
That's what they took down, so they could put that back
Okay.
without
Right.
having to get
That's in
any.
addition to the units that are already there?
No, well, that's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
That's a separate parcel.
Okay.
The town, sorry.
Okay, so that would have been it.
So, yeah, the alternative, is a little scary.
Well, to go from 12 families potentially down to 8, I
Right.
think that's addressing some of the traffic concerns.
Yeah,
we
that
had.
was something I was gonna bring up.
Mhm.
So that would reduce the traffic to what they're allowed to
Right.
have.
Were we supposed to do something also for this one with the fence that is crossing over into the property line as well, or is there nothing yet?
There's
supposed to
no
do.
encroachment.
no.
No, there's,
Okay,
that, where it was taken down.
That's correct.
oh, I thought there was
I
a
think
part of
on the
that
side.
corner
Are you talking about
area.
the chain link fence?
No,
No,
I'm talking
white
about the
fence.
white
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 one.
one?
All the white fence issues have been taken care of.
So I think because it came all the way back to where there's no parking there now,
Okay,
that might be what you were talking about.
maybe, okay.
I like the trash cans removed from my property.
Is that us? Are we supposed to?
No, I'm just saying.
No.
Yeah, and then the other concern, I was just looking at my list of stuff that we spoke about at the public comments was, construction and all that, and that'll all be done. I mean, the residents that are there, any construction will have to be done around them. They'll be working hours and all that stuff, so they will have access in and out of their driveways
Correct.
and all that, so.
Yeah, through the procedural process of the site development plan, they will have a sequence of construction.
Right.
And stabilized construction entrances, et cetera, to manage that.
Right.
And the stormwater management was concerns,
Right.
and that will
Mhm.
be,
Correct.
After the field visit, Mike spoke with Erskine. You don't remember his first name. But he contacted me about 45 minutes after we left. He's willing to work with me. I'm willing to work with him. Do something to get rid of the water on his home.
Right.
I wish the others would work with me as well, but I can't.
Was that the gentleman in the middle that was
Yeah.
at the
Right.
site visit?
Yeah.
That's
And this
wonderful.
project
Yeah.
really can help these guys.
Yeah.
I wish, but I can't tell them.
Yeah.
But I will work with Erskine. He did reach out to me.
Great.
Good.
And I think you mentioned last time, as far as landscape, that's something you're going to maintain?
Dennis and Alliance, they'll do it.
What we under for you though.
Yeah,
So they'll be kept up year-round?
yes.
And I don't remember if we talked about this, is there going to be an HOA as well? Or no?
No,
No, okay.
no. No HOA. I'll own it.
He owns all that.
I
Yeah,
own
so there
all
won't
of
be,
it. So
Okay.
there won't be lots.
I'll be sure to charge myself plenty.
Well, that looked nicer, I think, than some of that. I mean, some of the trash and stuff that was all back there, keeping it maintained will be very nice, I think, for the neighbors to look at. So, I think that'll be good.
Any other comments, questions? Anyone care to make a motion or a denial?
I can make a motion. I move to approve the PERD overlay designation concept site plan and preliminary subdivision of Leonardtown Cottages located at 22800 Lawrence Avenue.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay, the next item is our first presentation on Leonardtown Main Street by Ms. Emily Stagner, and she's been very excited to show you all this. Take it away.
In an effort to not turn my back on the audience or town council, I'm gonna stand in this wee pocket here. So, yes, my name is Emily Stagner, I'm the Main Street manager, and this is very surreal for me because I have, behind the scenes, back in my little office, been working on this for a long time, so I'm very excited to share it with you and the public. Yeah, I can get the quick.
Thank you.
So this is a very quick kind of global overview, if you will, of the Main Street program. And to appease my college professors, I'm going to say and point out that every slide is noted where it was sourced from, Main Street Maryland or Main Street America. So the Main Street program was started back in the 1970s, originally derived from the National Trust for Historic Preservation. This was, if you can remember back, before Amazon, and it was when malls were the thing to do and the place to go. So downtowns were becoming derelict and actually being bulldozed. And the National Trust for Historic Preservation was getting calls to come and save their beautiful downtown buildings, like our beautiful Duke Building or the PNC Building, and thus the Main Street program was born. So the Main Street program has a 4-point approach. I should note that Main Street Maryland has a 5th point or pillar, if you will, which is clean, safe, and green. But for the effort of time tonight, we're just going to go over the 4. So this is all working towards a community transformation. They're economic vitality, design, organization, and promotion. And there is a very brief video that will explain this a little bit better.
Main Street approach helps communities get started with revitalization and then grows them as they adapt over time. The 4 points are a framework for addressing and considering the essential components of a thriving commercial district.
So Main Street leaders don't need to be professional design experts, architects, or preservationists to be knowledgeable about the point of design. The basic understanding of several key concepts can help local leaders to provide solutions and resources and advocate for best practices.
Each community is unique and has its own story to tell. Your commercial district's assets and features are the core of your promotions efforts.
Organization builds leadership and strong organization capacity, ensures broad community engagement, and fosters partnerships across all sectors.
Economic vitality is at the core of the 4-point approach. It works with your development partners to build and grow a diverse economic base by catalyzing smart new investment, cultivating a robust ecosystem for small businesses, focusing on the unique assets of your community, and fostering equity and inclusion to create an environment to help build local wealth.
So Main Street is more than just renaming Washington Street to Main Street. I'm kidding, we're not actually.
I was gonna say, what?
Nice vote. And it's really a community effort to bring revitalization downtown through new business and helping current businesses. So with that, we partner with an advisory council. Some Main Street communities are set up as a nonprofit, for example, Chestertown. We are lucky enough to be an entity of the town of Leonardtown, and so we are establishing an advisory council. This advisory council will establish our mission, the what and the why, our vision, how we want Leonardtown Main Street to look, function, and feel, and identify and adopt our transformation strategies, which you can think of essentially as an economic direction. It's almost like a map of where we want to go. This is our very diverse group of community stakeholders. We're very excited that we are meeting for the first time tomorrow afternoon in this very room. And these are people who either volunteered or agreed after being spoken to a little bit more, just to come and kind of learn a little bit about Main Street, similar presentation that you'll be hearing. And hopefully they will all agree to jump on the bandwagon and work towards making Leonardtown even more convenient than it is now. So these transformation strategies, like I mentioned, they're essentially where we want to go with downtown within our Main Street district. You'll notice that these, again, sourced from Main Street America, are divided into customer-based, industry, product, or service-based strategies. The ones that I feel are essentially very applicable to Leonardtown would include health and wellness because of the wharf. And if our downtown development plan continues with the Brent Bay Greenway, the boardwalk that's going to link the wharf to the Port of Leonardtown Winery, that would fit really well. Arts, of course, being the only designated arts and entertainment district in Southern Maryland. Entertainment and nightlife. And then my personal favorite, millennials, hipsters, and young adults. So as an example, let's say that our advisory council chose to adopt the millennials, hipsters, and young adults transformation strategy. What exactly would that look like? So that means that we're going to focus on programming towards that generation. We're going to focus on retail recruitment towards that generation. This is sourced from Main Street America, and one of the things that they pointed out as an example activity for millennials would be establishing a co-working space. We're very fortunate that we're getting ready to open one here in Leonardtown, thanks to an amazing entrepreneur locally. Another thing that millennials are geared towards is retailtainment, if you heard that on Shark Tank. So an experiential shopping destination, which Leonardtown is quickly becoming. Again, this is kind of our timeline, starting back in September when we received our first Main Street designation. And again, the only one in Southern Maryland. La Plata is an affiliate member. We work towards establishing our advisory council, which will be kicking off tomorrow. We will review market data, including our census numbers, retail leakage, which we thankfully have a great package for, which I'm sure everyone has seen from our consultants. And then we will learn more about some transformation strategies, adopt one or two, and break that down into goals and tactics that we can work towards. So if you are unfamiliar, and apologies if anyone is colorblind, this is our Main Street district boundary map. You'll notice that it goes down to our wastewater treatment plant down Fenwick, up to Dunkin' Donuts, down to the wharf, and a wee bit of the purple, if you see, is included into West Fenwick, or what will be known as West Fenwick, behind Shepherd's Old Field. That's a very exciting area of the Main Street district because that's where we're going to have, hopefully, some mixed use. So a lot of retail recruitment will be going on in that section, and that's really exciting to add to our entrepreneurial ecosystem downtown. The next two slides are really particularly exciting because Lachelle and I are the only people who have seen them so far. I would love to introduce you to our social media, Leonardtown Main Street graphics. Those are, of course, the 4 main points of the approach. And Pop Quiz Town Council would love for you to identify the buildings in our Leonardtown Main Street logo.
Duke Building.
Dukes,
There we go.
yeah,
Okay, very
right.
good. Next.
The one
Antoinette's.
PNC.
Antoinette's.
Antoinette's, yes.
Sweet Bay.
Next. Sweet Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bank.
Bank.
Bank,
Yeah.
yes, very good.
Bell Motor Company.
Close.
Yeah.
Rex.
Yeah.
And then the Inn.
Oh, okay.
So we're very excited. Our amazing consultants help bring our dream to life with this.
Looks so good.
Yeah, we love the Easter egg of the arch that's going to be going up on Wharf Hill. And very conveniently, the colors of Main Street America also happen to be our branding colors. It was really meant to be.
I saw that.
So very exciting to have that. Any questions?
Great job. So-
Yeah.
Really great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
So this
exciting.
also opens up businesses to different grants and things as well, right? And other,
It does.
that kind of thing, being a Main Street, which is
Yes.
big.
There are specific grants that Main Street affiliate members or Main Street designated programs can only apply to, or rather have a preference when applied to. For example, DHCD, Department of Housing and Community Development, who Main Street Maryland falls under. Hopefully in the early new year, we'll be releasing Project Restore 2024, which a couple of our business owners received last year. And now that we're a designated community, their maximum funds are increased.
Awesome.
So yeah, we're
Yeah.
really excited.
Great.
It also brings a lot of new training opportunities. At a recent Leonardtown Business Association meeting, I did a very small presentation through Main Street America on claiming your Google business profile. I think just increasing our search engine optimization in Leonardtown could really help with tourism and local awareness of all of our amazing businesses, especially small businesses. So lots of fun and exciting things to come.
And you communicate those grants to the small business, like when you meet with them and everything? That's
Yes, so I've been
Awesome.
doing that through my Main Street business meet and greets as
Okay.
I've done them. I couldn't think of a M for alliteration purposes. And also attending Leonardtown Business Association. And once I have an email list, I'll be spamming everyone.
Awesome.
That's it.
Okay.
Great job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it much.
Okay, and the last thing I just wanted to bring it to your attention that we did put out the RFI for the food hall a couple weeks ago, and it is open until January 8th if you, someone wants to say that they have an interest in the project. And then we will be holding an informational meeting for anyone who had requested that they have an interest in the project. And people can submit questions in writing, and because we have to have everyone who's requested the packet be able to hear the same answers. And so we'll be addressing those questions at the informational meeting in January. And we have had, how many?
7 packets.
7 packets.
Oh, wow.
Good.
Great.
Plus, they're on the website, so people can download them without requesting them. But they have to submit a form that says that they have an interest, and we'll invite them then to the informational meeting.
We don't have a date yet for the informational meeting
No.
after January,
No.
obviously.
Okay, is that it?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to my report, I was not at the LBA meeting. Our daughter moved to North Carolina, so we had to take some stuff down to her over the weekend, and so that's why I wasn't there. Chrissy, you want to give us a report on the LBA?
Yeah, they partnered with Jack Nutter on Friday afternoon. I'm going to be getting the follow-up from that. I'm talking to him about doing like a video of Leonardtown at Christmas time. The LBA wants to start posting some reels and things to just draw more and attract more for the businesses in the area, see how that goes and take it from there. We're also in 2024, we're going to be reorganizing how minutes are going to be posted after the LBA meetings, and it sounds like there's been a lot of things have been spread out. It's going to be more streamlined, and within a week after the meetings, there's going to be minutes. And it sounds like they are meeting soon to be talking about the events that are going to be going on that are LBA sponsored for 2024. So that's what's going on.
Very good.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's really all for my report. Events. Heather.
Just following up on Christmas on the Square. It was an amazing event. The feedback I got, people loved all the vendors, like the additional vendors and how they were all kind of spread out. So hopefully we'll be able to continue doing that.
It seemed like all the businesses did well, and
Yeah.
were there any complaints from the LBA businesses about the number of vendors that we had?
No, actually the feedback from that was positive. I mean,
Yeah.
there were so many people in town, and it sounded like the event just went, I mean, I was there too. I mean, it was fantastic.
It was
I mean,
great.
others cooperated, and I did not hear any complaints from any of the businesses. I think when, to start, I'm sorry.
No, that's
Ken,
fine.
Ken, I knew you were here.
No.
So I knew you had.
No complaints.
But when, I know that preemptively, there was some vendors that were set up in the wrong places, or they were set up too close to businesses, and Brandy was contacted, and they were moved immediately. I can let you take it from
Yeah,
here.
no, that's fine. There was just a little disconnect between what roads were supposed to be closed and what were not supposed to be closed.
Right.
So one of the things that we discussed in the LBA meeting was going forward is perhaps having a meeting with the police before to see what's going on, so everybody's on the same page, because we were getting different information from the police versus some of the people that were from the town. Most important is Lawrence cannot be closed. Lawrence has got to be opened as our lifeline in and out of the town. I don't mind closing the alleys, I don't mind closing anything, but Lawrence obviously is the lifeblood during those events, and I'll support, we can do an event a week as far as I'm concerned, if you saw how busy we were. So I firmly support it, but the last two events, there were some issues with what roads were to be closed and where they were to be closed.
And unfortunately, there's so many parties involved. We did have a meeting prior to, and everyone was on the same page, but then you get out there and you
Yeah.
have people that aren't in the meeting, that it gets secondhand, but, you know, we'll just keep working on it. But we did have a big coordination, actually two big coordination meetings with all the.
And when I reached out to you all were super responsive in terms of letting you know, but when, two things, several of my employees were not allowed to get to work. They were blocked and told that they weren't allowed to get to work. I don't care about the customers because we knew about that, but, you know, for my employees to be told that they had to turn around and leave town was a problem. And then the other thing is we were told that that Slice House To Go was supposed to be closed during the event, so that was another mishap. So anyway, just communication.
Yep.
Yep.
We'll work on that, so.
Yeah, and I think the only negative that I heard from the vendors was, you know, and I guess it's a good problem to have, was just
Too many
reception.
people.
Wi-Fi,
Well,
right?
there were so many people,
Like,
Wi-Fi,
yeah. And just trying to, you know, for them to be able to use like credit cards and everything like that, I think that was, but we've talked about maybe we might have
Working
some
on that,
solutions in the future.
And I just
so
want to
that's
point out that Eris is here, and she did
Yes.
a new
Yay!
report.
And I saw you that night
Yeah,
when
it's
I was
pretty.
turning in a little girl's
Yay.
scarf, that got left
She
on
did a new
the.
report.
It looks
format for
nice.
you. It looks very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll be
Really
working
good.
well together, thank you.
Yeah.
No, just to everybody who supported that event, thank you, especially, you know, the police officers as well. And then tomorrow's the meet and greet, or this week, coming week,
Tomorrow.
the meet
So
and
it's the
greet for
12th.
Santa?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what the.
And the
one of
16th.
Oh, the 16th, yeah.
And I think we extended the hours on that because we had so many people who wanted to come. And Santa,
Good.
Mrs. Hodge were willing to do that, so we added some hours.
Yep.
It's like signed up immediately, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, it just, people love it.
Loving all the
And
holidays.
such a great opportunity because
Yeah.
these kids, you know, they can't be with all these children and they lose
Yeah.
so much anyway, some of these
People
kids.
really
So,
love it.
Having kids that have sensory stuff, that's a huge deal, so, yeah. And the menorah is awesome, yay.
Yeah.
Except apparently it doesn't like a lot of rain and snow on it, yeah.
It's working now,
I was gonna say. it's
It was
done.
fine when I left it at like 4:45, 5 yesterday, so.
It's fixed now.
Okay, good, good.
Good,
you broke the menorah?
Okay,
but the rain got into the areas that didn't
Yeah.
have
The lights.
lights.
Yeah.
Lights in there.
so it probably shorted out, because the lights actually have like a little rubbery kind of thing on them that kind of
Should
closes
probably
it
have
all
a
up.
plug
Like a
on the
blank or
ovens.
something.
Oh,
Protect them
yeah,
like
yeah.
this.
Look at you already coming up with a solution.
Did you put the other bulbs in and just not
We
turn
did
them?
not,
Oh, you left it
but
open?
we can.
Yeah, I'm thinking about.
That's a good
Yeah,
idea
Don't
too.
light them.
Yeah.
And then just turn them when they need to be lit.
That's it, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Nick, Community Development and Planning.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Like Heather mentioned, the tree lighting was a lot of fun. Had a great view for it, so thank you, Sean, for letting me go up on the Duke building. That was really neat. All I have to say is just Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone. Look forward to seeing everyone in the new year. It's amazing that we're going to be in 2024. That still baffles me, but the year's just flying by. But it has been a great year, so thank you to town staff, everybody. Y'all did a great job, and look forward to working with you all in the new year. But that's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Christie, Utilities.
Thank you, Mayor. Don't really have anything utilities-wise. I guess we'll get some updates on the treatment plant maybe next month. See what's going on. I hear everything's going well, so.
Yes,
And I didn't hear any of the banging. I know you guys
Yeah.
sent out
I think
stuff.
we're gonna wrap up this week with the driving the piles for the storage tanks.
Great.
Good.
Awesome. Yeah, and just want to echo the rest. I mean, the staff and everyone that was involved in the Christmas on the Square. It seems like it gets better and better every year. I don't know where we go from here, but it was great.
Scary.
Yeah.
A big duck right in the middle.
Yeah, so thanks.
We had a 30-foot Santa, so that was pretty good.
Yeah,
That was
the
really
Santa
cool.
was
The
great.
Santa- and okay, the other Santa that's out here is moving, is it not? Somebody's moving that
That's
Santa.
moving. It's rotating.
Who's doing
I
that?
don't know.
Just
Oh.
someone.
Okay.
Like,
Because I was like, wait a minute, he was faced a different way or what?
people are probably sliding in.
Okay, yeah.
And that's really all I have.
Okay, thank you. Jay, Southern Maryland Municipal Association.
All right, thank you. So as far as our Southern Maryland Municipal Association meeting, January. I do not have a date. Do you have a date? January 10th. All right, and our Maryland Municipal League Board of Directors meeting is virtual, and that's also in January. So those are the two things there.
The SMA meetings, where is that?
Terry, do we know, did they say where that is?
Oh,
I don't think
okay.
they finalized location.
Didn't they say they were coming back here at some point?
That's
Was it
eventually
February?
gonna be, I think, Teresa and Mel, when they just do a tour.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll come here. Again, to echo the Christmas on the Square, I think it was absolutely amazing, and our Christmas decorations throughout the square are amazing. So
Yeah.
thank you. They look really good this year. I also attended the ribbon cutting for the bridal shop in town recently, and that's pretty. If you haven't checked it out inside, I highly recommend you go see it. It's pretty neat. Really is having that right in the downtown.
It's amazing the number of, probably have 100 wedding dresses in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I went in there the other day, back in there again, and I think she said she's got some bookings for this week or next week.
Oh, wow, good.
Yeah, so that's pretty good.
It's a nice addition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. Just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and look forward to working with everyone next year. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mary, Business Development and Retention.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to remind everybody that you have 20 days left to do your 529 plan contributions or Roth conversions. If you're going to do that before the end of the year, I've been very, very busy working with clients. Don't forget the 529 plans are fantastic, but it does have to be done by December 31st. So you can't do it like your Roth IRA and traditional IRA contributions. You can do those in the year when you do the tax return, but you cannot do those 529 plan contributions. I just got back from California, the state, which I feel like I have to tell everybody to differentiate. Last year for Christmas, instead of doing big Christmas gifts, I gave each one of my kids a trip. And so I took my older daughter to California last January. I took my middle daughter to Europe for that horrendous trip to Europe that I survived. And then we just went down to Disneyland and we went to Rodeo Drive. And so I've got all kinds of great ideas for the decorations for Christmas on the Square next year. 'Cause it was phenomenal. If you're going to travel, it's a beautiful time of year. Yes, it was beautiful. But I do want to remind everybody to not forget about the service industry when you're doing your Christmas shopping. We have lots here in town. We have massage parlors, tattoo parlors. There's a lashes down at the square, by the wharf. We have barbers. For my kids, I always like to give people the coffee and alcohol certificates because, the teachers, because I'm not sure after dealing with my children which one they're going to need more. So just don't forget everybody that we have. We have lots to offer here in Leonardtown. So when you're doing your Christmas shopping, remember everybody. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything for the better of the cause? All right, just wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Hanukkah, and all that. So enjoy.
And happy birthday.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
I was hoping to have my new